I'm gonna show you how to make a really, really delicious meal using things that you can get right here at the Bethel Park Farmers Market. I wanna encourage you to stop by. They're here, I believe, every Tuesday in the evening, so you gotta come by and check out some stuff. But today, let me tell you what we're gonna make. We're gonna start with a grilled flank steak. Then we're gonna do a homemade chimichurri sauce to go on top of that steak. And we're also going to do some grilled garlic bread. It's gonna be really, really great. I don't know if your mouth is watering already, but mine certainly is. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you how to make this delicious dish. Now, one of the things that I love about the farmer's market here is that you can actually get really great meat. And so we've got here a flank steak. Now, a flank steak, as you can see, is not a very thick cut of meat. So one thing that I did forget to mention that we're also going to be making today is grilled bacon wrapped asparagus. Okay, even if you're not an asparagus person, you're going to love this. So we're going to start with our asparagus. So this asparagus, again, right here from the farmer's market. And I'm not going to do all of this because we're only kind of making one dish today for you to check out. So we'll do kind of this amount. So you're going to take one piece of asparagus and snap it where it naturally snaps. Okay, so just like that. I didn't force it to snap there, I just bent it until it stopped. And now this is where we're going to actually chop the remaining asparagus. So we'll kind of line it up like so, and we can see there that that's where my broken piece is. So let me grab a knife. And then we'll put that down right there, and just like that. And you could do, obviously, tons more of this, but that's all that I need for right now. Okay, so I'm gonna sit this kind of over to the side on my cutting board and go for the next most important ingredient when you're making bacon wrapped asparagus, which is bacon. We need some bacon. So we'll go ahead and open this up. Again, this bacon came right from the farmer's market here. And we're gonna grab, we'll say 2 pieces out for right now. And that is some good looking bacon. And we'll do one more. There we go. Now here's something that not a lot of people do. I want you to season your bacon. That's right, it's gonna have a natural salty taste obviously, but we wanna season that bacon. Really get those flavors to pop. There's actually a seasoning vendor right here at the farmer's market, so you can get all kinds of different seasonings from them. So I'm just gonna use this seasoning, and it is kind of windy out here, so I fully expect my seasoning to go all over the place a little bit, but we'll be fine. So we're gonna put that right like that. So we'll grab 3 strands, I don't know, shards? What do you even call this? I don't know. 3 pieces of asparagus, and we're going to wrap in this delicious bacon. Okay, so we'll wrap just like that. And as I wrap, I'm kind of moving up the stalks. I think that's what it is, stalks of asparagus. So we're gonna wrap that up just like so. And now we have a beautifully wrapped piece of asparagus, or 3 pieces of asparagus. Do the same thing over here. We'll go with our second one. Just like so. Now the question that you may have is around, should we be using a toothpick to hold the bacon together? Normally I don't, but today I am. Today I am gonna use a toothpick just because I don't really want to have to risk this stuff, you know, falling apart in my grill there. So we'll take these 3 and we'll do the same thing. All right, just like so. All right, so now that we have those, let's grab my toothpicks. And we're basically just gonna pin these a little bit here and there together, just so that I don't risk a lot of stuff falling apart. So primarily on the ends. See, it's already kind of falling apart, which is fine. We're outdoors. It's kind of how it works sometimes. Just kind of pin it together like that. Same thing with these. Okay, just put that toothpick right through. You just want to bring it out the other side of the bacon just so that you know that you've got that bacon sort of pinned together. Should only take one toothpick per, but you could certainly use more than that. Okay, just like so. And now we're gonna go back in with our seasoning one more time. Right here on the top, just like that. So we're gonna sit this over to the side. And now we're gonna get our steak seasoned and get it ready to put onto our grill. So again, like I mentioned, the flank steak is a delicious cut of meat. It's not a very thick cut, obviously. In fact, you kind of don't even really have sides on this. You have a front side and a back side, but you don't have anything on the actual sides of the meat. So you can see how that looks there. It's not a very fatty meat either. It does not have a lot of fat on it, so there's not really a lot of trimming that you have to do, but I am going to trim just a little bit here. So kind of these extra fat pieces here, going to take those off because those aren't going to do us any favor once we are in the smoke. So we'll just, using a really sharp knife, just kind of take that off. Just feel around for any sort of loose pieces that we have there. But overall, this is a beautiful flank steak. Thank you to the people here at the Bethel Park Farmers Market. This is a gorgeous, pre-trimmed actually, because typically when you get a flank steak just from a butcher shop, it doesn't look like, you could tell that this was actually really nicely trimmed, so that's fantastic. So I'm going to season this today very, very simply. All right, this is again, not a very thick cut of meat, so you don't want to over season it. It can take a decent amount of seasoning, but you don't want to overdo it because you really want to let the flavor of that meat speak for itself. So we're going to use a mixture of salt, pepper, and garlic. All right, it's kind of my holy trinity, I like to call it. So we're going to go over this. Try not to let it blow all over the place, although it does smell delicious, so I'm sure that my neighboring folks here wouldn't mind that. All right, and now we're just going to pat that on there. You can see it's a fairly light coating there. We'll flip it over, get the other side. Now, normally, I would actually smoke this meat, but due to sort of the constraints of the environment, I was not able to use my smoker today. But I would smoke this at a very low temperature, almost like 160 degrees or something, and then take it off, fire up the smoker like screaming hot, and then sear it at the end. So we're gonna do a version of that today, but just it's not gonna be actually smoked. So now is a very important step that also a lot of people never do, which is to let this rest. We don't want to put it directly on the grill right after we've seasoned it. We want to give it a little bit for that seasoning to absorb. And since it is a salt-based rub, it's going to draw some moisture out of the actual cut of beef, which is going to be all the better when it hits the hot grates on the grill here. So next, while we are waiting for that, and that'll probably take, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, we're going to go ahead and make this delicious chimichurri. Now, chimichurri, if you're not familiar, there's a red version, there's a green version. We're going to make the green version today, which is chimichurri in itself is an Argentinian origin type of, like a dressing or sauce. If you've never had it before, you are missing out. I'm just going to tell you right now. You've got to try some chimichurri. It's fantastic. The red typically is a little bit spicier. Again, we're making the green today, which is going to be delicious on our steak. All right, so I have here, again, since casualty of the environment, I don't have any power. So I actually picked up a manual kind of food processor that's got a blade in it. You want to use a food processor for this because otherwise you're just not going to be able to get the consistency that you want. So we're going to start here by taking some flat leaf Italian parsley. Now normally, if you kind of watch my videos or you've seen me cook before, a lot of times I won't give you specific quantities. I'll just say put whatever you want. This you do need to be a little bit more specific. All right, so we're gonna go with about a cup of parsley, which in this particular case is gonna be very close to all of this. So we don't want a bunch of stems in, so we're just gonna take the top and twist, and then that goes in. Some of the stems are not a big deal, we just don't want a lot of them. All right, so I'll just go in, take any of the big stem pieces out. This is delicious looking parsley. All fresh ingredients, folks. We'll put this over to the side. And now we're gonna go, and this is an ingredient that's not traditional in your normal Argentinian chimichurri, but it's one we're using today, and it is fresh mint. Fresh mint. This mint, oh, it smells absolutely amazing. So we're going to go ahead and probably do about half of the amount of parsley that we put in of this mint. Mint is a very, very fragrant herb, as you probably know. In fact, I'm wearing gloves, and my gloves will probably, or the smell and the flavor of this mint will probably go through my gloves. It's that pungent. All right, to that, if you've got fresh oregano, I would use that. I'm going to use some dried oregano leaves, and we're going to go, I don't know, probably like 1/3 of a cup of that, sort of like that. Next, we're going to do a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Okay, and I'm just eyeballing this. It's going to be about that much. Then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. This is from the Olive Tap here in Bethel Park, right here at the farmer's market. This is going to be about close to a 1/2 cup. So we're going to use a little bit more than half of this. That's going to go right in there. Let's see, a little bit more. Great. Next, I hope you like garlic, because I do, and we're going to add 8 cloves of garlic to this. 8 cloves of, using my garlic press here. If you don't have a garlic press, you got to get one. My life changed when I got my first garlic press, I got to tell you. We're going to go directly in there, so that's going to be 2. There's 3. There's going to be 4 and 5. A few more. There's 6. And 7. And we'll grab one more. 8. There we go. Don't leave any of that garlicky goodness behind. All right, get all of that out of there. All right, and now comes, I like to call this my secret weapon because I put it on just about everything, crushed red pepper flakes. Now you can use as little or as much of this as you want. If you're not the kind of person that likes spice, I still encourage you put like a 1/2 teaspoon in, just so that it elevates it a little bit, give it a little bit more heat. I personally love spice, so we're gonna go with about a tablespoon in here. You won't ever find me eating a pizza without a ton of this on there. All right, now with all of that together, we're gonna go ahead and mix this up. But before we do and get started on that, let's go ahead and get our steak onto the grill. All right, so we'll go ahead and throw this on. You're not gonna hear really any sizzle because it's not what we're doing just yet. So we're gonna let that go. Now I have this set to a high temperature, but it's not gonna take very long again. So we'll check it out in just a few minutes to see how it's doing there. We'll go ahead and get our little attachment here. And I've never used one of these before, so we're gonna see how this goes. But we just turn it like so. And I can't even see into it, so I assume that it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. Oh yeah, look at that, nice. All right, so we'll just continue to do this. And you wanna do this until it reaches the consistency that you like in a chimichurri. And if you've never had a chimichurri, don't make it super watery. All right, let's take a look. All right, so we still got a ways to go. We don't want these big chunks, right? So I'm gonna go into this other side, which actually will do this faster, which is kind of neat. All right, let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Looking really, really good. So we've got our steak on. The steak is probably going to only take about, I don't know, 5 to 6 minutes per side. So we'll flip that in just a few minutes. So I've got some beautiful Italian bread here. And this is gonna be what we use for this amazing garlic bread that we're gonna use, or that we're gonna make rather. that there. So to make a homemade garlic bread, it's very, very, very simple. All you need is a loaf of bread like this. You need some butter, you need some garlic, and some seasoning. That's pretty much it. So I'm not going to do this whole loaf right now because obviously I'm only making one dish here. So, and typically you'd use a bread knife. Again, this is just the situation that I find myself in today. I'm using the tools that I have. So I'm going to go in here and just make a couple of really nice slices of bread like that. Beautiful. Now I mentioned two main ingredients for garlic bread. You're going to use butter and you're going to use garlic. So I have here some butter, which nature has softened for me, which is fantastic. So I already got some softened butter that I'm going to be using. And now into this little bowl here, we're going to come back with some more garlic. And this is just garlic for the garlic bread. So not a ton of that unless you really want to. Again, it's up to you. I'm going to do about 2 cloves. Just like that. Okay. And then to that, I'm going to add about a half stick of softened butter. Which, thank you, August, for my softened butter. Put that in there. And now we just literally come in here and just mix this together. Obviously, you would do more of this if you're making more bread than this. Next, we're going to come in with this same salt, pepper, garlic mix that we had earlier. Just about a tablespoon. And we're going to mix again. And folks, we have just made probably the easiest garlic butter that you'll ever have. Let's get a quick look at what's happening under here. All right. Let's do a little lift. Yep, we're getting there. Not quite ready for a flip yet. All right. So now we'll use the same spoon that I just made this with. We'll use the back of the spoon and just put that garlic butter right on there. Just like that. Take our second piece here, same thing. All right, and now that is going to be ready for the smoker, or the grill. I'm so used to saying smoker. So we'll get it onto the grill kind of around the same time that the steak is ready to come off. And then we'll actually, when we put this on, we're going to put it on butter side down. And then we're going to use the rest of the mixture to coat the other sides of it and then give it a flip. So it's going to be absolutely incredible, especially with all of this other amazing stuff. So right now, I find myself in a little bit of a holding pattern because we've got the steak going. Again, it's not going to take super long, but you don't want to, mess with it too early. We have our bacon wrapped asparagus, which is ready to go. And in fact, I'm probably going to go ahead and just put those on just so that that bacon has a little bit of a chance to crisp up like I like it. So we're starting to get a little sizzle there, which I love. Not a ton of real estate on this tiny little grill. But there we go. However you like your steak, just please promise me through the screen, you're not going to make a well-done steak. Because if you make a well-done steak, you're basically eating a shoe, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to eat a delicious cut of meat. So medium well at the max. I like my steak medium rare, but we're going to do kind of somewhere in the middle today. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and give our steak a flip, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and flip over. You start to see that bacon is starting to get a little color on it there, which we love. Flip that over. Cover that back up. So for now, again, sort of in that holding pattern, but I want to tell you guys to make sure that you visit the Bethel Park Farmers Market. If you're watching this on BPTV right now, you know all about the Bethel Park area. The farmers market is absolutely incredible, and you want to make sure you get out here because there's food trucks, there's fresh ingredients, there's a lot of stuff that you could take home with you to create amazing dishes on your own. And listen, everything that we have here can be sourced locally at the farmers market. You can make an entire delicious meal just from ingredients here at the Bethel Park Farmers Market. All right, so now it's time to remove this delicious steak from the grill. So we'll go ahead and grab that. We're gonna put it right there. And now again, it's important to let this steak rest. We do not wanna go ahead and carve into it because juices would run everywhere. You need to allow time for those juices to kind of resettle. And so I'm gonna use some foil here and just cover this in foil, like so. It's time to go on with that incredible homemade garlic bread. So we've got our bacon wrapped asparagus there, and we'll take that and go straight down on it. Same on the other side. And then as we mentioned earlier, take the remainder back of the spoon, just put it right on the other side. Now when you start to expose butter to an open flame on a grill, you're probably going to get some flare-ups because that is basically oil that you're putting right onto your grates. So I'm going to take my temperature down just a little bit, cover us back up here. Again, not going to take very long at all on the bread. Just looking for that toastiness on the other side. You can see how easy this was. Like in the time that we filmed this, we've made a steak, we've made bacon wrapped asparagus, we've made grilled garlic bread, and it's been fun to do. And I always recommend go outside and try new things on your grill. All right, so we've turned our propane completely off. You can see that the grill is kind of smoking here. It's a little bit flary, and that's again because of the oil that comes from both the bacon and then also from the butter. So we'll remove those. Take a look at our garlic bread. Oh yeah. I'm gonna put it right over that flame that's going right now. A little char on bread is a beautiful thing. And then we'll get ready to start plating. So we'll take our serving board here. Let's take a look. Yep, that bread is doing its thing there. So we're gonna go ahead and grab that lovely flank steak. And you'll even see, or maybe you can see, I don't know. Since we let that steak rest, now we've got juices appearing on the top that weren't there before, and that's because we let it sit like we did. So we're gonna transfer this steak right to our beautiful cutting board here. And now remember I mentioned about the grain, okay? So in this cut of meat, the grain runs this direction. I don't know if you can see on the shot, but it runs this direction. So we don't want to cut that direction. If we cut that direction, we're going to end up with really tough meat, which we don't want. We want nice, juicy, succulent meat. So we're going to turn this around this way. And now I like to slice meat at an angle, so not straight down. I want to slice it sort of at an angle that's going to make it even better. So we'll just slice like that. And then look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but that's deliciously cooked. So we'll do the same thing. Cut them, I like about a pencil width. It's still very hot. Another very important thing is to make sure that you have a very sharp knife. You don't want to have to struggle with your knife just trying to get to your steak here. All right, we'll use that much for now. Place this back over here. All right. Now I like to kind of space it out a little bit, just like so. And then we'll just kind of blot up a little bit of that extra deliciousness that's happening there, just for presentation purposes. All right, now we'll place our bacon wrapped asparagus, like so. And now, we're going to come in with some of that incredible green chimichurri sauce right on top of the steak. What's that? More? Okay, I'll do more. I can hear you through the camera telling me to put more chimichurri on. So there you go. Let's take a look. Beautiful garlic bread. Nice and toasty. Right there. And friends, there you have it. A beautiful flank steak with a homemade chimichurri, gorgeous bacon-wrapped asparagus, and homemade garlic bread. Try this and you will not regret it, I promise. I'm gonna try it right now, actually. Can we leave the cameras on while I eat? Is that okay? Yeah. All right, just that steak just pulls right apart. Oh my gosh. It's got the right amount of heat. It's incredibly tender. It tastes like meat gold is what that tastes like. Delicious. I gotta try the asparagus too, you know. Definitely don't want to bite into a toothpick. We'll take that out. We'll give this a try. Bacon is very flavorful. That's from that seasoning that we used. Asparagus is perfectly cooked. It's not overdone. And then finally, we gotta try that garlic bread. I'm just gonna pull a little piece of it off here. And here we go. Oh, perfect. Everything perfect. Everything came from the Bethel Park Farmers Market. Listen, do yourself a favor, go to the farmers market, get these exact ingredients, and do this exact thing. You will not be sorry. You'll be the envy of all your friends, especially if they like meat. So thanks for checking this out. Thanks for tuning into this video. Oh man, I'm still eating. It's so good. You can check out more of my videos if you go to youtube.com/holysmokesbbq. That is my YouTube channel. It's over 130 outdoor cooking videos for you to get some inspiration. But definitely, if this is the only inspiration that you need, take it, cook it. It's incredible. Thanks for tuning in.